let them have it, dismantle damage, they panic, wreak havoc, attack it, ball in, all win. No hesitation, the confrontation, we ready, you waiting, anticipating this ankle breaking.
Welcome back to Pisces TV with Dr. MB. This is your finance reading for the collective of Pisces, Sun, Moon, Venus, Rising, wherever Pisces may fall in your chart, especially if it involves your work or finance and career sector. Cross watchers are welcome for whatever reason. If you got a partner or a mate you want to chime in on, if you're interested in your own personal readings, my products and services, check the description box. There's a link to the Etsy store, and for the bonus, extended pick a cards, daily motivation, those exclusive membership items can be found on our new Patreon platform. The link for Patreon membership is below in the description box as well. We also have the merchandise on YouTube, our community board, and stories. So make sure you guys check that out. Like, share, and comment. I do appreciate that. So all of my newcomers, please stay, hit the subscription button, and all of my returners, again, I do appreciate your continued support. Don't forget those thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm, of course, to keep me on your timelines, but it also helps in supporting my channel. It's free. Don't have to buy nothing. Just thumbs up, and I appreciate them, as well as your comments and feedbacks. I enjoy reading what you guys have to say. So let's go ahead and get started with your reading, Pisces, which I don't see as a cakewalk. I do, however, see that you have the ability to turn things around. If I look at the daily vibe and I look at the love reading for today, the finance reading is telling me, just as the other readings talked about the burdens and the negative aspects for a lot of you guys, or some of you, are mostly energetic, repetition, also endurance. You know, some of you could be consumed by life, you know, whatever you find life to be, your energy, your environment, your commitments and responsibilities. And it's like, my finances, my career, the business that I want to start, however you see yourself financially, it's like I don't have time for it or energy for it because of these 10, well, actually it's not the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands came up for you guys today in an entirely different deck, as I exclusify, that's a word, the finance sector. You got the dead end, which looks much like the 10 of Pentacles for me, and I see the hand. Okay, so interesting enough, as we get started with the introduction, the pick a card will be in the extended, so I will do the intro. We will follow with the Celtic cross style reading, and the extension to this video or bonus videos for finances will be located in the membership section. Now that I have introduced it right, I took 3 cards as usual to get the energy. So your first card, Pisces, that I have is this beautiful threshold, right? This threshold, for me, it was like borders, boundaries, or somebody tipping the end and like being very meticulous about how you approach where you go, right? When I think about the threshold, it's like how they said if Earth was really flat and it had a cat pushing something over, it talked about we wouldn't even exist if the Earth was flat, because the cats will push us all over the threshold. Cats are very mystical animals. Good luck. You know, the Egyptians kept them for whatever mystical, magical reason. And I personally say that they're cool because it's like they don't talk. And if you look into their eyes, it's kind of like it's so much mystery. Like they know too much. You know, I looked at my cat. I had a cat before. And in her eyes, it was just like, ooh, I'm so glad you can't talk. Because, like, they see everything, okay? And she just looks like like a fucking microchip. Their brains, much like human brains, probably recall and recollect. And so since we're talking about finances, we recall and recollect, I think about collect. Some of you guys feel owed, something's due to you, and other you guys could be about debts, okay? Which could be weighing you down. It's like, damn, where does it end? You know, with this threshold. Something that I saw was about 2 hands and 2 feet. I think about the hermit. I think about the shaman. And I feel like that could be challenging for some to use that in this modern day, in this life, in your environment, to use that as your bread and butter. It's like, how does a shaman become, financially wealthy, prosperous? Or I want to pay my bills. Like, I want to be mystical and magical and do things that I like. I want to follow my soul purpose, but I do that and make money, right? So the threshold with the feet, and for me, the feet are talking about you, Pisces. So we could be talking about something as far as a collective, right? Again, with the threshold, and the feet are talismans, or what is it, talisman? Talismans. I will never say that shit right. I don't even try. I will maybe one day. But it's just kind of like a charm of some sort for Pisces, a symbol for Pisces, in the feet. Okay, I don't know why the feet and the key have been very symbolic for our collectiveness. Okay, so then here with the dead end, I'm gonna read it. Okay, right here with the dead end, we are going to read that as it centers the reading. All right, this is the number XL. So if you know what that is, leave me a comment. Y'all know I keep saying I'm gonna work on my what is it, Roman numerals. Do I'm gonna start, eventually. Let's see here. Somebody do some theme music. The dead end, the closed door, the final chapter, the impasse. Contrary to what its name implies, the dead end is very much alive. It is a force that stops us from moving forward as planned. So a little bit about delays. Okay, see what I said? Like something, it's like a halt. Like you were moving along your way, and then So even that makes me feel a little bit like the Fool card. The Fool has also been associated with Source, right? You're on your journey, and here's this cliff. He didn't have a cat, or she didn't have a cat in the Fool card. That was a dog. I think cats are a little bit smarter, but whatever. Maybe something not so smart is going on, right? Especially if this is about communication, delays, dealing with others. Maybe they ain't smart as you. But let's see. Reflect on dead ends in your past that led you to unimaginable wonders. The moment you accept the endings, a feeling of grace will arise. Doors begin to open, both side you and in the world. Sounds like the road opener. So the the dead end is kind of like not feeling the opportunities, not seeing the opportunities, or being weighed down by, like I said, the actions. Being weighed down by what it takes to do it, or your everyday life, something like that. I felt that without reading the book. The end you face is very much a beginning. So we talk about the 1 and the 0, and so the 0 is the Fool card, and the 1 is the Magician card. So for some of you, it's kind of like repetitive, but not in the sense of like stopping and starting. It could be multiple things. It could be this particular thing, but there's no finish. Whereas the threshold is more of a finished line. It's not being met or something like that. All right. So there are doors opening all around you, just not the one you planned on walking through. And so the threshold could be where you planned on walking, and you get there, and like I said, there's this thing that stops you. Okay. And sometimes that's okay, because what if you wanted to be a nurse? What if you wanted to be a mystic or something like that, and you were trying to make your way, selling candles or starting your YouTube channel, even going back to school online or in person, whatever the case may be, doing hair, I don't care, whatever, and it didn't work. And instead of it being burdensome, I feel like those of you that have a higher sense of consciousness, like you invite this, you're okay with this, because there's this trust, of course, with you and Source. But when we don't have that, we see it as a letdown. We see it as our own failures, or you forsake me, or I thought this was supposed to work, or this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But it's like sometimes what we do is to get us to another place and another place and another place, And this card says that some of you guys could be in that place. Like something got you to where you are, and you could be either overwhelmed by the journey itself right here, or like, what the fuck with, I took all this shit to get here to do this, and now what, you know? And then so if I was to ask, like, what is that, we have the desert here, and it's like I noticed the palms coming out, and so it's kind of I think of the sand, and I don't know what sand is symbolic to. I always give you guys homework, so check that. But the sand has consumed you, and I know it's like salt. Okay, I don't know why it's funny, but I think about salt and like people hating. I don't know, but this is like way past up to your neck with something, because like I said, in this card, it's just the hands coming out, and then look, more hands. You know, so I have a ninja and I do smoothies and stuff. If I were to blend all of these wands, you know, all of this bark, I think I would get like sawdust or sand. I'm so creative. I don't know. But like all of this blended, the wood and all of that, it's the same. Kinda. Right? Oh, and then I think about open and close. One hand is kind of like the fingers are open. These fingers are close together. These feet are close together. So as we talked about that open and close, who knows? And even in the letters, like both of these, the feet and the hand have the X and the L, and then the V comes in with the sand. So the V, what is that? 5. We talk about the Hierophant and your beliefs. Okay, so yeah, the dead end becomes known as life's beginning, acceptance, humility, relief, reverence for change. When in dark, it talks about stuckness, tension, unconscious gripping. Yeah, like unconscious gripping is like holding on to something and not even knowing you're doing that. And so the Hierophant and that V makes sense, because the Hierophant is tradition, and I have done that. It's so many ways to do that. When you follow a tradition that no longer serves you, it was never like fact value. It was always something that we were taught or that was passed down. And even if you're a rebel, right, and you're growing outside of doing that, there's a sense of unconsciously still doing the shit. Turn it down, sweetheart. A little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the reading, Pisces. I did really quick. Just wanted to take a few words from the desert, and then we have the dead end and the threshold. So that was pretty. Those sound like really, really serious terms, but they aren't really what they seem to be. It talks about the drought, the wasteland, and the what is that? Bad land. So the desert is alive and pulsing with energy despite its desolate appearance. Turn toward it rather than away from it. So it's like, okay, is that the threshold? Is that what looks like a dead end? Maybe it's not. Some of you guys maybe wanted to give up or stop doing something because you feel like it's all this shit you did all this stuff to get here, and it's all of this stuff kind of like blocking the entryway, you feel. But it could be an illusion to keep others out. Who knows? All right. So the desert leaves us disoriented, desperate for direction, grasping for meaning, longing for solid ground. For endless miles, we are confronted with a lack of clarity and what is that? Existential dread. We are thirsty, hungry, pleading with life. So this is like somebody crossing the desert, you know, and ain't no water, ain't no people. You hallucinating and shit and thinking you seeing oasis, you know, and it ain't that. The discomfort, you know, tap into the potent energy of the landscape. Its lights are blindingly bright, and its darks terrifyingly deep. And I don't know if you've walked in or driven through a desert in the daytime or at night. That is actually so. So the desert that otherwise remains hidden has this truth inside of it. So the crows, the shadows, and the coyotes call, surround you. Let the winds and sounds work their deep magic, weary traveler. Okay, so it's kind of like how you see it, actually. because on one end it's necessary to get you to whatever you need to be, wherever you need to be. But on the other hand, it's like almost the Seven of Wands, an initiation of some sort, in, you know, how you do something, where you go to get it done, because I'm still thinking about the hand and the feet. And then I also see, like, when it said the coyotes and the shadows and the crows, all of those aspects are spiritual and only sound scary to those that don't have access to the esoteric or ancient wisdom, because the crows could mean one thing, but in movies and stuff, they mean many things, but and they're also like the messengers, also associated with the source energy. And then we have the shadows, which that we can't do away with a shadow. Like, if it's something about the vision, and I think about the kinetic vision of where you are when you see something, and how the moon cycles, and how, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, they on Instagram, they had a picture, and this guy was like, it took 5 days and something, but they did, I hope somebody saw it, but they did where somebody laid on the ground, or they do something to make a shadow, and they have to do it wherever the sun is to catch that shadow. And it's kind of like a book. Like, if you draw a whole bunch of still images in a book and do like this, how it moves, that's how they did, depicting the shadow and where the sun was. So that's definitely dope. I don't know how that ties into all I just talked about, but it definitely does, with the shadow and its necessariness. And depending on where you are when the light is shining, honey, could be enlightenment, could be the things that you're waiting on. It's like they do come, but if you aren't there to receive them, crossing the desert, desperate, too much focused on the scary stuff and how fucked up it is that you're in the desert in the fucking first place, it's kind of like you can miss it, because it's like it's there and it's coming. There's your almond, right? It's there and it's coming, but depending on, did you get there in time? Because the sun don't stop. Like, can't let no pause button. When they did the little thing, they had to not miss that opportunity, because it may have been a slim thing. I don't know. So Pisces, we'll go ahead and get started with this reading. Keep in mind, the bonus reading, the extended to this finance reading, will be made available in the membership section. Clarity. All right. So this is one of my confirmation cards. My Ace of Swords is like my sun card in my, yes, that is true. This also talks about some newness, a new way of being. It talks about, when I just thought about this sword, I thought about a warrior too. I didn't think so much about intelligence or a new way of thinking. I mentioned it. But this sword is just like, fight back, you know, or if not fighting back, it's kind of like a warrior or a soldier. When I watch movies, or, you know, they got to get the movies from somewhere, but it just talks about like the alpha, and I don't even like, you know, giving people alpha male and female roles, but it's kind of, they never call themselves that. But there is this individual that may be a little bit different from everybody else, and what they do to its magnitude, for better or for worse, is not what other people have the capacity to do. So this sword for me, and I'll see what, the Father of Pentacles, of course, the wise one, the teacher, right? It also talks about somebody who makes it through that desert with the knowledge. You had to go, and when I say you pissed off about going through all this shit in the first place, but it's like something about the knowledge or the things, the keys that are found in those situations. One person with this sword, this warrior, would be looking for them and would be understanding the mission. Somebody else would be like, what the fuck? I do a bit of both, but I can see that, like, somebody's prepared for something, right? Or this could just be sourcing your own point. but somebody's prepared for something. And then there's this other energy of totally not prepared, where it's the same journey but how you see it. And so that Ace of Swords could be that, with this discernment, how you take it in. Okay, with the King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and look at that. They don't know what to do. So that's why I said this preparedness, and Source was like, nope. It's a lot of shit, a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, many ways to go. Time is of essence. Like I talked about the sun, and like this, the sun is gonna go like this. You can't pause it. And for those guys that made that Instagram thing, it's like they had to be ready and in position to get it, or you'd have to wait another day, or you'd have to wait this, that. And then so if there are delays in your mind, this kind of like Source, speaking for it and saying, it wasn't no damn delay. You was late. That shit was there. You didn't get it. And I think it's going to be different this time, Pisces, because the swiftness in this night, this, the Son of Swords, and then the Ace of Swords. So there's this newness and what to do with it. Maybe you didn't know what to do with it, because when I said something about doing, what it is or know what to do, the Source was like, no. And Source talk all kind of cash shit. So I just be chilling sometimes and not even saying to y'all half the jokes that be in my head. But this is some newness. And the newness in the sword for me is mental communication. How you communicate. Now, moving off of those shamans, some of you, and I can see this, it's like if you, and even me, okay, having your own business or something about customer service or how you communicate, this is how you communicate your desires to Source. This is how you communicate with your customers, how you communicate with yourself, because self-doubt, overjudging yourself, being overcritical is a thing. And the Ace with the Knight just talks about bravery to go through this, because you are a soldier, but at the same time, just be mindful, because that ain't for everybody. I think the bravery in getting through this because you're a warrior is for the collective, but that whole popping off and not being approachable or taking things and running with it ain't gonna get you shit. Okay? Got over that. Centering the reading. Oh, look at this stability. All right. We do have patience may have been an issue. Some of us that are rushing in, it's like you want the truth. You want to get where you're going. You want this really badly, but I think patience is an issue, and also stability and a plan. Something about a plan for the unexpected too, because I see the tower. I see the lightning in this sword. The sword can be piercing. Okay, the sword is definitely a tool. And if I think about the Emperor could talk about Big Brother and the economic society and how something may be changing. Okay. With the Emperor, and I just saw the Eight of Pentacles, changing how you do work. And see, I did see this patience and this peace. And I also saw commitment, obligation, endurance. I see growth, because these cards all match. Next to the Emperor, you got the Son of Pentacles. So I have the Emperor, and this is definitely a tower. Because in this deck, the tower is this tree with the lightning bolts kind of snapping the top off, right? So if I put the Emperor and the Ace of Swords together, I just thought the truth will set you free, or being set free from something. And if the Emperor is the big brother in high society, not high society, because you could be high society, Pisces, but the Emperor is like in control of the community, whatever this means for you. A boss, a mate, your landlord, the people you lease your car through. Is just somebody that has something to do with your stability or your finances. Or you could talk about your own stability, because some of you guys need the patience to go the distance for sure, without cracking down, breaking down, asking for answers, that's for sure. And I just asked Source, like, somebody doing that, That's cool. But others of you, it's kind of like somebody's using something. So I don't know if you feel used, if the Emperor is going to be using something. Oh, look at that. Okay, I'm going to put that back. It didn't go there, but it was still cute. Okay. So, oh, look. When I said somebody's using something, here's the 9 of Wands. This uphill battle, trying to manifest something, lacking patience, your communication, and, oh, look. Remember when I talked about the shadow and the pictures that I saw on Instagram, and how the sun kind of went like this, and where the shadow was down here, they kind of made a little cartoon flip video of it. That's kind of cool, where you needed to be on time. And I know the Son of Swords will be on time, like, because I'm going to get there, I'm going to be on time. Some of you guys are asking where your shit is, or you trying to manifest something. Source is saying, I'm always on time. Shit, you know, make sure you there. Pisces. And so I want to continue this reading in our extended. If you are interested, like I said, check the membership section from here on YouTube. And also the link to Patreon is in the description box. That is very funny. If this is where we leave off, baby girls and baby boys, next time, namaste.